Our game tonight featuring the New York Knicks as they go up against the Celtics out in Boston. Well, for Boston, 5-5 over their last 10 games, but they're not satisfied with 500 ball. Looking to tack one onto the win tally tonight. Coming off a wild ride, Kenny, you've been involved in All-Star Weekend on a number of fronts. What did this break in the action mean to the players?
It's a good rush time, but you know what, Ernie, for me, at 1 year, it wasn't. Because I'm going to tell you, give me a stat. I'm going to see if you guys know. Shaq, only guy in All-Star history to participate in the dunk contest and the three-point contest.
2K Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the NBA.
Sports checks in with our loyal viewers with a broadcast from Boston, the home of the Celtics. Thanks for joining us as we get set to bring you NBA basketball on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge is our sideline reporter. And also joining us on the sidelines, the league's most valuable player in 2004, Kevin Garnett. KG, it is great to have you with us.
Okay, how you been, man? It's good to see you,
Waiting for you to sit right here next to us. That's what I've been waiting for.
Thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Can't wait to get inside your impressions of this game. It'll be a lot of fun. Take a look at the Knicks going up against a capable opponent, but you see their confidence. This one they feel they should win. They'll look to come out strong and show they're the better team. And before we get going, let's catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge, who had a chance to...
Thanks, Kevin. He told me that so far this season, this is a series that's gone just about the way he expected it to. Played 3 times and won 2. He said, "We do believe we're the better team, but we didn't think it would be easy facing the squad by any means. It hasn't been. So let's see if they can make it 3 out."
Thanks so much, David. Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against down low? We'll stick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people, I've always said Rasheed Wallace. I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the 2 that brought a different level of play out of me. But shout out to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared. because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his, I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end. Like,
Never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Team Olajuwon I watched a lot, because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Team Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards, able to laterally slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that, if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it and do it. I was able to apply it and I do it personally.
So the New York starting five, Porzingis and Hernan Gomez, are together down low. Then there's Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and there's the general, and it's Estrada in at the point guard position. Out of bounds, Boston takes possession.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
Celtics have gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Tim's very crafty, man. Our battles used to just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Olajuwon, Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well. Was very long. Had a lot of counters. Very strong. And had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about, because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, he was one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, Chris Webber. Malik City was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Here's Brown. No good there. So New York will take it the other way. Last time they met in New York.
And they lost the last matchup with this club, and it was really the reserves where the gap in play was felt.
And Kidd-Gilchrist kicks to Porzingis. And Kevin, you've recently gotten a chance to do more TV. Your show Area 21 has been tremendous, and the critics love it. Talk about this chapter of your career.
Well, it was something that I wasn't planning on, but Turner brought me a great concept, and it fit the mold of what any man cave is, and that's really what it is. But the fact that we can go in, watch games on multiple channels, see multiple games, articulate it, give it from a perspective of a player, coming fresh out of this generation of players, giving understanding to this generation of players is very important, because these players now are very different. Teaching these young players, still being mentors of these players, very important. And still loving this game. It's still a beautiful game. Man, the game is growing. I'm watching these kids do all types of different stuff, man. The creativity in our game now is so heightened. So, yeah, I'm having a bunch of fun, which is one thing I never forgot. The piece of advice you've always told me, man. So you continue to enjoy what you do, and it'll show. And I'm hoping that I'm making you proud of that. So, I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
You're an incredible ambassador to all of those things. The game, the fun of life. You capture a lot of the fun of life.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm enjoying it. So, hopefully it shows.
Here's the general, the dunk, and the foul, a powerhouse move, and he's got a chance for one more at the line. That's on Jaylen Brown.
I tell you what, you better watch out, fellas. He is on fire here today.
The Knicks have shot just one free throw earlier, 1 for 1 in the game. good from the general. Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. Which coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach that was animated, or did you want a coach that was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor. You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, you know, understand that this is a game of runs, you know that it's a game of momentum, and it has plays for those momentums and those times. Coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that
like Doc was kind of in between, a little bit of emotion, but he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
Doc was on fire. I'm sorry. There was nothing calming about Doc.
I'm trying to cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc would rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You need to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot, 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there, and it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, you know, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. And no play, absolutely. And you know what? That severity, and you play with that importance, and you know, knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So you know that's important.
Irving passes to Hayward. Horford with a screen on Kid Gilchrist. Hayward. Boston again missing.
Yeah, coming off that screen, wide open, just can't convert.
I think, Greg, that's exactly what you want. The screen was solid. The execution just fell a little bit short of the shot.
Yeah, way to play in attack mode and get to the line.
The Knicks shooting their third and fourth free throw shots of the night. First one falls for it. And can you think of the great ones? You, Kobe, Jordan, Timmy, yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity of a parallel that you all have is an inner animal that you never speak about. You know, we're all a little off. We're all a little dark. But that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. And when someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal. No one's ever done. That's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. And if Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
You know, he did Wilt Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. Kevin, what a lot of fans don't get to see is all the work players do behind the scenes, at home, before games, after games, on off days. Can you talk a little bit about that? Getting your body ready from the end of one game to play the next game. I mean, I've seen it, but you talk about it.
Yeah, the wellness starts right after you stop playing. The minute you come off the court, you're iced. You know, you got to do progressions where right after game, shower. Obviously, you got to get massages. You got to get some type of wellness on your legs, just because you're running so much. People don't know that you have to lift weights. You know, when we was in Boston, we lift every other day. We had a strenuous strength program. Shout out to Bidu, Brian Dude, who's our strength coach up there, never let us get a day off. And if you didn't lift weights, then we find you as a players find you. Because it's important for you to come in here and be strong. We need everybody to be as strong as they can be. So you have to lift. And then actually, you know, you practice. But after practice, you have to put time into your own personal game.
Right. So much goes into it. It's amazing. Tatum, he's checked in for Chris Bosh. The Knicks also changing it up. Cantor checked in for Hernan Gomez. Hardaway is subbed in for Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Knicks trail by 10, and people may not know, KG, that you're not just a broadcaster for 2K, but you're a member of the 2K community.
Have you been keeping up with the community, man?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Man, listen, shout out to all the 2K players out there. I'm Jizzle Lord, y'all know what it is. I'm Jizzle Lord 5. Shout out to my OBF team, y'all know what it is. Shout out to Dex, shout out to Bug, shout out to everybody out there playing. Right, we definitely.
Wow.
It's all good. You know, I'm OBF, I'm about the team, I'm gang, you know what it is. Jizzle Lord, y'all holler at me, y'all know what it is, 2K. Right.
Picked by Horford. here's Irving. Again, Irving missing.
Oh, a lapse defensively, and they actually get away with it. Bad idea to leave him open consistently, though.
Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I could tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I could tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It was very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, just around each other, understanding each other, playing a lot. We were playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
Bond a little.
Seriously, because none of us spoke Italian. If we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc's letting us be who we want to be and letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separates us and, take the balls and get us out of here, to the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. We start trusting our IQs. Now we start putting a couple things on defense, Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special, and that's how that felt.
Here's the general. 20 points for him last game against the Pistons in Detroit.
And guys, remember, remarkable passing the ball as well. He's racked up a number of good assists.
The Knicks making a switch here. Ells is checked in. Kevin, when you're talking about influences, you mentioned Chris Webber's name a lot.
Yeah, C-Web was kind of, he and Stacey Augmon was at a time where I was trying to find myself as a player.
Search for a roadmap, maybe, who do I most resemble?
Not only that, but just some direction. At the time I was a big who had handles, and if you know anything about Southern coaches, they don't.
The whole new group out on the floor right now for the Knicks. Celtics leading by 5 on the court for the Knicks. Porzingis and Hernangomez are together down low. And there's the general. Then there's Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. And it's Estrada in at the 1. The shot's good from Gordon Hayward. Regular season grind, 82 games in the regular season. In your opinion, is that the right amount of games for teams to play? Or would you like to see the schedule shortened where there's more practice in between, more days of rest, more days to recuperate?
Man, look.
You got a big smile on your face.
For the old school, Kev, 82 games is how you got to come through it. This is, listen.
It's a war, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? This is the tradition of it, man. This is what it is, bro. If you don't want to go through this and go through this hall and this road of this journey, then cool. Go to another league. They got shorter games. They got other awards that you can, This is the NBA. This is what it is. This is the grind of it. And ones that have come before you have done it, just like the ones that's after you is going to do it. This is what it is.
Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin. Well, the general in his last time out against the Pistons played really strong. He scored 20 points and seemed to be playing in slow motion with a huge number of assists. His was the kind of all-around performance coaches love to see. Felt like he was a factor in just about every play. Kevin?
David, appreciate the report. He was a one-man show in that game.
And, it'll be interesting to see how much that took out of him. I mean, he'll have a hard time putting up anything even close to those numbers here tonight.
Well, you do wonder, though, Greg, does he still have some of the adrenaline going from that performance? No matter how tired he is, he should have plenty of energy coming off that.
So he gets them both. Boston leading by 3. For the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. just say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just say you and someone are doing something to walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed in which you want to walk at might be different from another person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of we're going to walk up here together like this speed, like this, and we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, you have to pull them, you have to keep up, whatever it is. All of this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. Kevin, we know how hard the players work, the elite players work the hardest. We know the coaches work so hard. Everyone in their coaching staff, everyone wants the game called right. Is an added referee something that would help the game in any way, do you think?
More eyes on it.
We got 3 right now.
Listen, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
And we're yelling at those 3. Listen, more eyes on the prize, if you will, so be it. It's just about how the game is. You want referees to be consistent. You want referees to also let the guys play a little bit. You know, that's just my preference. I'm not a league official, nor do I know flow and momentum. I'm just talking from a fan perspective and watching it.
Yes.
But, you know, as a player, find things to complain about because that's what a player does when it comes to advantage versus disadvantage. But fourth ref, I don't think it would hurt. To me, it would be about how they were calling.
And, Kevin, you played for some great coaches, but is there any coach you would have been interested to work with that just didn't get a chance to? Say, you know, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson.
You know, those are great coaches. I've had very, very little time with those guys.
Maybe in all-star games and things like that.
I have. But, you know, when you do all-star games, you let yourself go. You know, you open up yourself to try to, you know, be there and be present with the guys. Yes. Open up, you know, hey, what's up? We're spinning out with you. How's the year for y'all? Y'all playing well. We're going to beat y'all when you see y'all, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you're very cordial. And, you know, you're not talking too much about X's and O's. But you do share perspectives. You do share, you know, philosophies. Pop is a great mind. I had a chance to sit with him a couple times. Phil's a great mind. Phil is super deep and loves the philosophy of. I haven't had a lot of time with those guys. Doc Rivers, you know, shout to Doc, and you know, I know he doesn't get a lot for his philosophies, but he's very enriched with philosophies and styles and bringing teams together and trying to make sure that guys stay connected, stimulated. He would always tell us, never get bored with the process.
Wow, that's so intriguing. Interesting to hear. Kevin, when you played, we all know how intense you were, how much you cared. That, to me, was the thing that really, you cared so much about the product, about your team, about the game. But some people have said that maybe there was a streak of you that was mean is maybe not the right word, but you were overly aggressive. I don't know how you could have played any differently.
I call it dialed in. You know, I like to think that if you're trying to accomplish something, then, you know, I only know one way to accomplish it. You go at it with everything you have. You go to dominate it and take it over. You don't go at something light.
Can't walk through the park with this game.
Not at all. And this game is full of talented elites. Night in, night out, you're playing someone that can typically go for 50 easy.
So true. Hayward gets to Irving. This ball moved by Boston. Shot clock at 5. Bosch heads the pick for Hayward. A three-pointer, no good.
And boy, have they been hitting the backboard in this game. What? Kind of surprising. It's such a tight game.
And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lou, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who have been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, you know, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow. There's a lot to consider. Hangs, and it's Brown missing.
That's simply not aggressive enough. Needs to show grit and determination, and didn't on that one.
And stolen by Irving. Brown outside. That shot off the mark. Nice defense from the General. And, Kev, you had a voice in where you'd go from Minnesota. How did all that play out?
I sat with my wife, and we all kind of went through it and thought Boston was the best situation. Paul and I had great bones and great history that I don't think the world really knew. We had been knowing each other since 14, 15. I played with each other younger, and I had a chance to play with Cole, but that really didn't go through. A lot of people don't know I had a chance to play with Steve Nash also. When I played with Stoudemire, and that wasn't the case. So I decided to go to Boston. Ray and I knew each other from South Carolina. And then, the Rondo piece was a huge piece for me. I had followed the youngster in his first year and just watched his growth a little bit, even though I was in the Western Conference. And then when I got to Boston, I knew they had good pieces like Kendrick Perkins and Tony Allen. I wasn't aware of the Big Baby piece yet. And then I wasn't sure on the Posey part. And then all of a sudden, it started to come together, Eddie House. And then all of this, and
great names.
Just all alphas, all guys able to stand up and speak for themselves and be articulate, and all different facets, and very similar facets of who we are personality-wise. And a lot of people just don't know that team there. I don't think another coach could have coached that team other than Doc Rivers.
Adding a lot of flavor to the mix, Kevin Garnett. Kevin, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you join us again sometime.
Man, Kevin, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at me, all right?
Future Hall of Famer and a terrific person, Kevin Garnett. And, Doris, one of the things that really strikes me about KG, he's as smart as he is athletically gifted. What a treat to have him join us tonight.
Well, I'm in awe of his enthusiasm. And it's not just when he's talking, but when others are talking as well. There's so much life to the conversation. Everything he brought to the court for 21 years, he now brings to the booth.
Yeah, how about the body control on that? He narrowly misses getting the deuce.
First free throw is good.
Well, Kev, you have to love how Enes Kanter plays with his back to the basket. This guy is so efficient. He is one of the most productive big men off the bench, the kind of player every coach would love to have to get a little juice in your second unit.
Now, here's Tatum. Guarded by Hardaway. Now, Tatum. 11 points for him in that last game against the Hornets in Charlotte. They set the pick. Brown outside. The Knicks pull it in. This game coming after a loss against the Pistons.
Yeah, they gave up in that one. The defense constantly breaking down way too many times.
And I think there has to be better communication. All five guys tied together. And what happened to them is what happens when you play lackluster defense.
And now let's catch up with David Aldridge, who's standing by from the sideline. All right, Dave.
Thank you, Kevin. Now your scoring has been big in the first half, but also rebounding has been huge. What's allowed you to have such an impact?
Yeah, I think everyone on the floor has been doing a great job of boxing out, finishing defensive stops. The ball just happens to be bouncing my way, so, I get credit for the rebound, but as a team, I'm really happy with the way we're bodying up.
Well, you guys are all doing it together. Thank you. Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, David. And we'll be back for the third quarter of action following halftime. Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out a way here in the third. And the General has been really making it happen, guys.
I mean, he was prolific in that first half. You know it's coming, but it's just so tough to stop.
And this is what he does, right? He's out there to score the basketball, and throughout that first half, he dominated.
Brown and Hayward out on the perimeter. Horford is out there with Chris Bosh. And it's Irving at the 1 spot. That's the group for Brad Stevens getting going here in the second half. And the replay is courtesy of Under Armour. Unleash chaos. It was a great sequence from the steal all the way to the finish at the other end. Offensive rebound. Here's Hernan Gomez. And they pick up 2. And the Knicks lead by 2.
I'll tell you, you have to have a nose for the ball. Picking up points on the offensive glass, that is the relentlessness Willie is known for.
Irving kicks to Horford. Hayward against Kid Gilchrist. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. And Gordon Hayward driven to improve his game and carry this team deep into the playoffs.
You have to admire the work habits of Gordon Hayward because he went from a high draft pick to someone who has turned himself into a legitimate all-star. You love his hunger, looking within and saying, how can I be better and lead my team to greatness?
Porzingis with the ball, picked up by Brown. Shot off the screen. Here's Hernan Gomez. And no good. Some solid defense from Brown.
Boy, what a cold start to the second half for them. Just 1 for 4 from the field so far.
Doris, who were born in New York, became the first female analyst to ever call a Knicks game. Talk about the emotions that night, having traveled that incredible journey.
You know, Kev, it was both magical and nerve-wracking. You know, I grew up a Knicks fan when there was a healthy Bernard King, and the league had absolutely nothing for him when he was doing work on the low post. QB Brown was an idol of mine. But it was also nerve-wracking to be the first woman to sit in Clyde Frazier's seat. It was sort of awe-inspiring and a ton of fun.
Here's Porzingis. Hernan Gomez. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. Hernan Gomez has got 4 points in the quarter.
Oh, and a nice job of turning that miss into 2 points on the tip-in.
Hustle points, I believe they call them. Hustle points right there. Horford sets a screen for Hayward. And the shot falls short this time.
A little ambitious on that possession, trying to hit a shot in the face of that defensive pressure.
The pass to the general. Screened by Porzingis. And Irving comes to help. And stolen by Irving. Oh, and here we go. Irving's got it. The pass. Great chance. Whistle on the play. Bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
Well, the quick hands of Irving to help create offense for himself on the other end. Well, you think about the virtuoso ball handlers in NBA history, Kyrie Irving has got to rank at the top of that list. You know, his ability to dissect defenders, get into the lane, that is the foundation of his offensive game.
And the fans get their money's worth watching Irving. My goodness, Doris, he puts on a show.
Oh, he certainly does. He's got every move in the book. A devastating crossover, a little in and out dribble, the hesitation, the spin, the ability to stop on a dime and hit the pull-up. You don't ever know as a defender which way to go.
Picked by Horford. Hayward is in 8 for 15 with that made basket, but he's not satisfied yet.
They're doing work here in the second half. 3 or 4 to start.
To the paint, and it's blocked by Brown. 3 minutes gone now in the third quarter. Feeds it to Bosch. Picked by Horford. Here's Hayward, and he banks in the lane. And it's a 4-point Celtic lead.
Well, Hayward goes right up with the shot inside. Fantastic confidence in the paint.
Here's the general. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. He's gone 6 of 6 from the free throw line. No good on that. Robinson's checked in for the Celtics. Wells is checked in for the Knicks. Good on the second free throw. Third quarter of basketball here, and just a little under 3.5 minutes gone by. The screen from Brown. Horford sets a screen for Irving. Banked in off the glass. Irving's got 26 points.
Well, he's one of those guys who's kept their offense clicking. They're in front thanks in no small part to what this guy's done.
And the Knicks miss again.
And even without that three-ball dropping for him, the defense should have done more on that last play.
Here he's it from three-point range. Irving's got 10 points now just in this quarter.
I'll tell you, this guy will not stop pouring it on. It doesn't matter what approach they've tried to use against him. He has had an answer for everything.
Celtics leading by 8. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on the general. That's foul number 2 for him.
And the next one puts him in the bonus.
White is jacked in for Hernan Gomez. Irving with it. He's got 29 points. Pass to Horford. Here's the screen. And there's the feed to Hayward. Horford sets a screen for Hayward. Shot from free throw range. And off the front. And in it goes. Hayward's got the lead up to 10 now for the Celtics. Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over.
Boy, oh boy, has Gordon Hayward turned himself into a complete offensive player? His offense has grown every single year. There's no question you want the ball in this guy's hands.
And here we can check out the breakdown of rebounds tonight between the front court and the back court for Boston.
And their guards have really made their presence felt on the backboard. No shortage of effort or aggression in tracking down those miscues. And that's what's given them the edge here in this game.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give them 2 chances at the free throw line here. Doors with so many one-and-dones entering the NBA. Do you think expectations are too high for these guys, especially from the fans?
I don't, and I think it depends on the talent that we're talking about. You know, I know Joel Embiid is a guy who didn't necessarily start right away, but when he was finally able to be healthy, it certainly didn't take him long to become a factor on the NBA level. No, I don't think the expectations are too high. I think these guys are accustomed to expectations, and frankly, their personal expectations are probably higher than ours.
I mean, look at the elite of these high school kids who have been playing like in front of big crowds on a big stage for so long. It's second nature to them, don't you think?
No doubt about it, Kevin.
Loving the energy right now here in the third quarter as they try to take control of this game.
You know, possessions like that will help them feel good going into that final quarter.
And it is flushed down with a nice jam.
A power flush with a long hang on the rim at the end of that.
That could be a catalyst for him. It really could. Nick by Horford. Wow, here's Brown. He's got 8. Horford sets a screen for Irving. 5 to shoot. There's Brown with the 3. Yes, and it's Irving picking up the assist. And that's 11 points for Jaylen Brown. And the Knicks with possession here. A 12-point game. Here's Wells. And right away, they match it with a three-pointer of their own.
Okay, we got a nice little back and forth going here.
Well, I love how personal this thing is getting. If you drain a 3 on me, anything you can do, I can do better.
Here's Hayward on the play. Basket count, so it'll be a three-point play chance.
And they're scoring much more efficiently here in the second half, and they've gotten that field goal percentage above 50.
Celtics making a switch here.
Well, Brad Stevens started his own preseason coaching summit in Boston. This guy is clearly dedicated to his craft. He's dedicated to learning from his peers. He is always watching games from every different angle to try to learn.
Three-point shooting since the half has been about as good as you could ask for.
Here's the general, defended by Hayward. Here's Wells. Buries it from three-point range. Wells has got 12 in the game. And rumor has it Brad Stevens used to keep a pad of paper for every TV in the house to sketch plays that he saw in games.
Well, those were the old days. Now he can just text an assistant with the game and timestamp, and then he reviews a marathon edit of plays for things he can use. Oh, the beauty of technology.
The 3. It falls for his 5th field goal of the night. Now shooting 5 for 8.
Well, he continues to be a dangerous scorer for them, but he can't do it all by himself. Someone else has got to help them climb out of this hole.
There's a screen by Robinson. Irving attacking, and he got the whistle, so he'll have a three-point play opportunity. Celtics leading by 13. And here's Irving. He's got 34. The bucket is good. He'll have a chance for one more. The general, and so he's picked up his final foul, and he will sit for the rest of this game. The Knicks making a switch here. And so it's Boston easily grabbing this one. It was a tale of two teams tonight, one that was in total control, operating flawlessly, and the other just searching for answers that they could never find.
Just so tremendous. Fans involved from the get-go, and once they started to really pour it on, it was fun to see that rhythm and flow from their perspective.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. See you next time.